Los Angeles is weird. It's a contradiction. LA is a city totally obsessed with image. But when you're here, it feels a lot like an endless conveyor belt of facelessness. In a place with upwards of 13 million people, there's very little actual human interaction. But if you know where to look, you can find a whole bunch of Angelenos coming together, fighting to build a sense of community in their city. I'm Erica Hart, and this is Mindful American. See, I'm on a mission, or a journey, I suppose. I'm looking for some inspiration. Every day I try to make choices with greater consciousness and care, changing my daily habits to help reduce my impact on the environment and support my community. But it's hard. I get overwhelmed. I need guidance. I want to meet people all over the US who are living intentionally and sustainably and enjoying it. I'm starting here, in LA. A city that is constantly in motion, dense but divided, and desperately dependent on cars. I got rid of my car and slowed down enough to meet some LA residents who are experiencing the awesomeness of the world and their community in a responsible way.
We need sustenance after all those stairs.
To find out how the carless are getting around this notorious bumper-to-bumper city, I met up with this guy, Jimmy Lizama. A native Angeleno, Jimmy has been a bike messenger here for 16 years. He's also a huge figure in the city's ever-growing bike culture.
And you can see it in their faces once they ride their bicycle and they feel the power of themselves on that bicycle. You've created an activist. It's really powerful. And it brings a smile to your face. Like it's great.
Jimmy is the founder of the Bicycle Kitchen. Located in East Hollywood, the Bicycle Kitchen is not a bike shop. It's not a place to have someone else fix your flat. Instead, the Bicycle Kitchen is a non-profit community bike co-op, a resource for cyclists, a space to learn to fix, tweak, and pimp out your bike. It's completely run by volunteers, or cooks, who help guide folks as they build. Today, the Bicycle Kitchen is a highly regarded bike co-op, with many offshoots in the LA area and copycats around the country. In 2002, it had its meager beginnings in its first location under the stairs at the Los Angeles Eco Village, an ecological community cooperative committed to reducing car dependence. Jimmy Lizama founded the kitchen as a way to build community by doing what he loves.
Dale, pues dale. I was working as a messenger and I needed somewhere to work on my bike. And I asked the community if they were okay if I repurpose that space as a place for me to work on my bike. And so I did, and they said yes, and put up some tools, a stand in there, some music. The following week or two, I decided to have a kind of an open bike shop situation. We'd come in and we just share knowledge on bikes and hang out and talk bikes. And so many people all of a sudden started riding their bicycles and coming through the kitchen, and forming all other kinds of little bicycle cultures amongst themselves as well. It was exponential and beautiful and synergistic, and the way that it grew from nothing into this amazing powerhouse of community activism on its own really gave me a whole ton of inspiration in my own life to say, oh wow, you just a little bit of love, a lot of bit of work, and you can actually start forming a movement that will affect the thing you're trying to affect. You gotta believe in it, you know? And we really did, so.
Jimmy lives here at the LA Eco Village, a 40-unit apartment complex turned co-op. The main goals of the Eco Village are to raise the quality of community life while reducing environmental impact and to spread awareness on how to live more sustainably in an urban area. The Eco Village is located in Koreatown, one of the busiest neighborhoods in the city, an area perfect for reducing car dependence.
Koreatown is super dense. It's one of the most densely populated areas of LA. You can just feel it. There's a lot more foot traffic, and you actually see a lot more bikes around here. There's buses stopping every minute. There's trains all along. It's one of the best places to be if you're transit dependent.
Lois Arkin is the founder and director of the Cooperative Resources and Services Project and co-founder of the LA Eco Village. At 77, Lois remains an energetic director, actively organizing and participating in community events and leading public tours of the Eco Village once a month. She's a self-described senior stand-up comedian.
Well, let me just make a mention of this is our solar dryer, also known as a clothesline. So,
We are in Koreatown,
yes.
which was a hard-hit
Yes.
neighborhood during
Yes.
the riots. Do you want to talk a little bit
Well,
about that?
exactly. This was a very scary neighborhood before that, and it was scary for a while after that.
During the 1992 LA riots, as a result of the Rodney King verdict, Koreatown was one of the areas hardest hit by crime, rioting, looting, and open gun battles, with very little aid coming from the LAPD. The riots shook things up for everyone in the city, and building community became even more important.
And the most important thing is that we had learned a long time ago was that the fear of crime is much more debilitating than crime itself, and that crime is symptomatic of the breakdown of community. And it was after the riots that we said, hey, what should our priorities be in inner city Los Angeles? And so we decided we'll just work on community building, you know, and that does work.
I'll be leaving my modest hills, leaving you behind for a city. Press your head into my arms. Your mouth is young, but your heart is strong.
So the one thing that brings everyone together in this...
People want to live more cooperatively and more ecologically, and they have taken the time to demonstrate that commitment. Because the housing costs are much less, and most people here don't own an automobile, they can live a high quality of life at quite a subsistence cost, even for a few people below the poverty line, and still have a very high quality of life. And that's true of many, many intentional communities.
And I know my breath is dark and wet. Won't you come by? All my friends have left. We were drinking, laughing hard, telling all the stories of our calloused hearts. Don't look so scared with my hands in your hair. The darkness that they've known has gone away. Pull back the shade and look outside. The rain isn't warm like your hand in mine.
The thing I love about the LA Eco Village is it's not just harmless integration of human activity, it's joyfully harmless integration of human activity. People enjoy it. People don't complain about the extra time it takes to cook something in the solar oven, or bring out their food scraps to compost, or to get somewhere without a car. It really feels like a village.
From a permaculture perspective, there is a group of ethics. One is earth care, be regenerating rather than exhausting our Earth's resources. People care, take care of one another to the best of your ability. And fair share, redistribute your surplus. And so that's what we try to do here.
Laura Morrison has lived at the LA Eco Village for 16 years. In addition to heading up the food lobby, a food co-op for members and neighbors to purchase low-cost produce and bulk goods, Laura also stewards the Learning Garden. Right across from the Eco Village, the Learning Garden nearly became additional parking lot space for the Los Angeles Unified School District. Laura and the others from the neighborhood and the Eco Village convinced the school district to let them use the land as a space for LAUSD students to learn about gardening, food production, nature, and simply spend time outdoors.
One of the things the kids tasted were the wild grapes.
Oh, they're so adorable.
Yeah.
It tastes like a raisin.
Well, that's
It's in the sun.
Yeah,
It is a raisin.
They're turning into raisins.
Did the kids like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they liked eating everything pretty much.
No wonder. Holy moly! We're ready. I'm gonna go to the harvest. Excuse me.
In your experience with the kids coming in here, what would you like to see?
There's a lot of evidence that there's an increased interest in learning and with being outside. And I grew up at a time when I could play outside, and there was a stand of Douglas fir trees with a little stream running through it, and I could, go with my friends and play out there. And I really appreciated that part of my childhood, and many of the children in LA don't have access to anything like that. They don't really have a place where there's just nature, lots of plants, and where they can feel a certain level of freedom. That's the thing that I think is really important to provide, is that experience of being close to nature and becoming fascinated with what's here.
Spending more time here, I've realized just how impactful the LA Eco Village has been in the Los Angeles bike community. From the Bicycle Kitchen to Ciclavia to the LA County Bicycle Coalition, all of it has come out in some form from the LA Eco Village.
This guy, Ivan Illich, from way back in the 60s, he had this notion, this idea he posed, saying that democracy travels at 14 miles an hour. If any society, any group of people, ask of themselves for their daily activity to travel at more than 14 miles an hour, the energy needed to do that at any capacity is compromising democracy somewhere else in the world. You are enslaving someone's rivers somewhere, someone's mountains somewhere, someone's energy somewhere else. And also, on top of that, you're polluting your own place. You're polluting yourself. So again, the system is not one that is in balance. The bicycle happens to travel, generally speaking, at around 12 miles an hour. It's like perfectly democratic. When you ride a bicycle, you know exactly who's putting the work in, and that's you.
The bike activism coming out of the LA Eco Village is far-reaching. Recently, Jimmy was brought in as a mentor for a group of students in Boyle Heights. Once high school dropouts, these young folk are back in school, in a youth build program, earning their high school diplomas and working together on a project to build cargo bikes from recycled bike scraps.
And I want you to start thinking about a name for your bicycle, all right?
Well, how did you know that I need my bikes?
Everybody names their bikes. Come on now.
One of the students is Amber Derone. She's a mother and longtime resident of Boyle Heights, a widely Latino and low-income neighborhood just east of downtown LA.
This cargo bike is a big project for us. It's not, it's just not one cargo bike. We're using it to change the idea in Boyle Heights.
What was the initial inspiration for the cargo bike project?
I think it was the fact that, we wanted to see something change within our community, and we've noticed it. It took us a while to notice it, but we did notice it. The lack of communication in our community, the lack of health in our community. I think if people notice, especially within this area, like if people notice, okay, look at what she has, they're gonna wonder where they can get one and how they can do it, and that's the next step of our project. We're gonna build this cargo bike, and then we want to build our own bike shop to teach people how to make their own cargo bikes.
We need more people of all backgrounds to be able to be engaging in this thing that is so healthy for everybody. I want to hear their voice in that. I want to see their hands in that. I want to see their art and their expression in those forms, because it's there, and because it's super empowering, and because they get to all of a sudden really engage in how they are changing their community, how they are molding the future, and reassigning their own roles. So in my big vision is like, there's a shop, and it's a frame shop. You walk in and you see the youth from this neighborhood building bicycles for the neighborhood. It's like from the people for the people in that environment. And then from there, it does its own thing. From there I can be like, all right, we started this thing, and we're gonna go forward, and then it's alive.
Ciclavia is a bike event in LA that was started in 2010 by bike activists and LA Eco Village members. During Ciclavia, streets are closed to cars and opened up for cyclists to ride safely through the streets. This Ciclavia had its path going right through Boyle Heights.
It's fantastic. It's so much fun. Like just feeling that breeze and being comfortable and not having to worry about cars, it's such a good feeling.
The thing about bikes, there's literally no windows on a bike. You can't roll up your windows and put the radio on and ignore everyone and ignore the world. On a bike, you can smile at people, you can talk to people, you slow down and make friends. That's what we saw at Ciclavia, was people smiling and talking to each other, and this surrendered public space that is given to the cars every day. For one day at Ciclavia, it was for the bikes and it was for the people. It was almost like a protest. It was like the people occupied the space and occupied the streets, and the bikes were taking the streets back. It was awesome. It was awesome to see.
Spending time in Los Angeles, out of the car, meeting people, I really felt a sense of optimism. Maybe this city, this huge, sprawling beast of a place, can be a demonstration city with a little bit of love and a lot of work. LA could be the giant metropolis that noticeably and permanently reduces car dependence, encouraging other big cities to follow suit. The outcome is not just about the environment, it's about slowing everything down, taking the time to know your neighbors, to be conscious of your resources, and maybe feel more joy in your daily life.